We define homelessness in 3 ways. Situational homelessness can be you and I today. We lose our house, we lose our apartment, we're out on the streets, and the rescue mission provides about 90% of what we do is for situational homelessness. The next is the addicted and the mentally ill, and the addicted and mentally ill are about 80% of those that you see outside. The third are urban campers. That's their title, not ours. And urban campers are people who have chosen a lifestyle of gleaning, if you will, and living off the land. I would say today there are on average around 600 people who are truly homeless that we see in the streets every day here in the city of Fresno.
Rock on the fellow, everybody talking, everybody walking down at the Paparello.
So our day starts pretty early at about 6 a.m. and we spend the first 2 to 3 hours around the area of the Paparello house and the rescue mission. We go through there and we make sure everybody wakes up and cleans up their area. We work with a full-time sanitation crew. The reality is that homelessness isn't a law enforcement issue. It's a society issue.
So we can either choose to be right up next to him or and under his wings, or
It's kind of hard because most people, when you're homeless, they look down upon you and they kind of treat you differently, you know. I've been on and off on the streets, you know, kind of doing the homeless thing for quite some time. I'd say about 4 years.
I came from a good background, a good family. Just along the way, I made some poor choices that eventually led me to homelessness. It's really surprising, but people, they make a lot of money. Sometimes we would make like at least $250. When people would give me money, I would usually use it to go and buy drugs.
While your seemingly good deed of maybe handing out $1, buying some food, seems at the time a very good idea because you're helping that one subject. Unfortunately, I think the reality of that is that you're simply enabling that person to stay on the street a little bit longer, because the core of why these folks are living out on the streets isn't physical poverty. It's not lack of money. It's not lack of food, although that's a symptom of what's going on. The core reality is much deeper that no $1, $20, or hamburger is going to fix. We need to stop all trying to figure this out on our own and coming up with 1,000 different solutions and come together with one solution.
Educating the community to give them that $1, that $5, that $20 to a nonprofit like ourselves, that we double what it is that we could do for that client or that individual, that $20 bill is going to do, which is going to cause death on, unfortunately, that person that you're giving that money out to. And it wasn't until a local constituent of Fresno put it out in the paper that said, every time you give $1, $5, $20 to my son out on the street, it's one day closer to his death. That's reality. And that's what we live with on a day-to-day basis.
I would say to anyone who is trying to offer in-kind donations, whether it's blankets, jackets, tents, food, gift cards, I would tell them that everything on the streets is barterable. People trade. It is literally a Old West situation, and the moment that I get a brand new tent, I'm going to sell that tent for drugs and alcohol. On any given day, we have 48 beds that are available for anyone in our community. 17 on average are filled. So it's not that the space isn't available, but the want to change has to be had on the client side.
When I wanted to change my life, there was a defining moment, and that moment would have been when I was sleeping on the curb and it was starting to get cold. And so I had finally come to a point where I was broken. I decided to give the mission a shot.
Rescue the Children provided me a place to change my life. I stopped using, I started applying for work, and I finally found a job. It's never too late to change if you really are willing to change, that there are people and there are places out there that are willing to give you a hand in doing that.
The only hope that these people have is that the community stops looking at them as a negative and starts looking at them for what they are, which is these are folks that are lost. If there's 600 folks out there, there's 600 different reasons why they're out there. And let's get them out of the sidewalks and the gutters and get them the help they need.
But I would say the safe path for most people is relationships.
Since I've been to the mission, it feels like it's my home. I've developed relationships which have not only helped me to feel more secure about who I am, it's just nice to know that there are people out there who still care.
Not that homeless people don't need the help, because they do, giving money and just like supporting that and helping them become more dependent on that is just not the way to go.
The best way to help our homeless in the city is for each one of us to research the organizations who are already providing to the homeless population. The thing we shouldn't do is to keep them homeless. Every time that we hand out money, every time we hand a McDonald's gift card, every time we lovingly provide a tent or a blanket or a jacket, we're leaving people outside. And it might make us feel really good for the moment, but the reality is we're keeping them homeless.
Everybody talking, everybody walking down at the Paparello. My knees are a-knocking, my baby is a-popping down at the Paparello. Now there's P-Pop and Mike, they treat you all right down at the Paparello. There's P-Pick and Paul.